Okay, our next attack that we're going to look from the mount position is going to be the armbar. All right, and this is going to go hand in hand with the X choke. If you can't get the X choke, 9 times out of 10, he's ready to be armbarred. All right, so let's look at that. So, exact same setup as our X choke. I like to control the head. I'm going to get my thumb in the back of his collar. I rotate over, okay? I drop down. I cinch this up really deep. Now, we're going to say in this scenario that he's just all about not getting choked, all right? And his arms are up here really high. He's protecting his neck. You know, he's looking to roll me over, and he's just not leaving any room, all right? His elbows are up really high, all right? Completely guarding his neck. Well, obviously, his arms are in danger, okay? So, from here, all I want to do is get my body behind his elbow, all right? So I'm not going to use my hand too much. My hand's really just going to kind of check his elbow as I lean over to the side and get my shoulder behind his triceps. From here, now I know I can keep that elbow in position just long enough for me to use my hand and post so I can slide my knee up above his head. All right? Let's turn just to the side here. So I get my body behind. All right? I'm not trying to just shove this all the way over. Just block, come behind. Now I'm going to use my hand on the mat. Now notice how my knee isn't going to lift off the mat. I'm just going to bring this knee off the mat so I can slide this knee up above his head. All right? And my heel stays tight to his hip on the other side. Now notice how far I came up. I want my stomach to be behind his elbow so his arm is trapped. Okay? If I only come up here, this isn't going to be enough to stop him from wanting to drive his elbow back down and out. So make sure you slide. For me, because I'm taller and he's a little shorter, my knee is coming all the way over his head. Okay? And now I have my stomach right behind his body. I'm sorry, right behind his elbow. Okay? Now from here, if there wasn't any room, if this elbow was a little low, I can open this up a little bit. So I can take my heel from his hip directly to his shoulder. Notice how there was no time where I was sitting up high with my foot on the mat. Here there's way too much space. Okay? So I'm kind of here, open up enough space, bring my heel to the other side to where now I'm going to be sitting on him. All right? Now, at this point, I can start to take my hand out of his collar. Okay? So I'm taking my left arm out of his collar, and I'm looking to hook his arm that I'm attacking right around his wrist. Okay? If he already started to make like a protection, you know, kind of covering up his arm, I want to hook right at his wrist, okay, and grab my collar. All right, now my hand that was in his collar is going to check his leg. I like to hold the pants whenever I do an armbar to make it hard for him to roll up on top, okay, so I have control of his leg. Now I'm just going to lean to the side and let my leg slide right over his head. All right, that kept my hip really low with no space for him to pull his arm out between my legs, okay? Now that I'm hooked at his wrist, it's going to be really hard for him to defend. I'll immediately be ready and able to slide right back, either here, or if I feel like his arm's sliding free, I can let go and immediately take the wrist and finish right here with the arm bar. So again, start off holding the head, shutting down one side. I have my thumb in the collar. We go for our X choke attack. Okay, so I spin my arm over, drop my elbow. I start to cinch. He feels how tight it is, and he goes pure defensive mode on the X choke. All right, his elbows are up and exposed, so it's time to go for the arm bar. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of check his arm just enough where I can get my body behind it. Okay, now I can slide my knee up, look for the other elbow. Just in case if it was low or trying to work on my leg, I can pull this up enough to allow me to bend my heel up under his shoulder here. All right? Now immediately I'm going for the wrist, so I'm going to kind of, you know, swim through and look to hook right at the wrist. If his arm was locked, I don't want to hook at the elbow, because now when I sit back for the armbar, I'm still going to have a lot of work to free this hand so I can have the full leverage. All right? So while I'm still on top, I'll start to search for the wrist, okay? And a lot of times, in fact, once I lean, I can almost finish this right here while I'm sitting on him, all right? Otherwise, I'm just going to go all the way back, okay? So I have it hooked at his wrist. I'm going to check his leg, lean, okay? So there's no space. My leg just floats right over his head. Now from here, I can pull this back, finish the arm bar, go to the wrist if I need to. All right, so that's like kind of your Mount 101 right there. X choke to arm bar. Very basic, but a very powerful combination that's nearly unstoppable, you know, to stop both the X choke and the arm bar. They're going to give you one or the other.